Rarely in life are your shoulders ever doing anything like this. Yet whenever people talk about shoulder health, these rotator cuff exercises are the only ones you ever hear about. They're touted as moves that bulletproof the shoulder, when in reality they're just a very small piece of the overall puzzle. In this video, Jason and I are going to discuss why rotator cuff exercises alone won't bulletproof or magically heal your shoulders.
In everyday life, your rotator cuff makes micro adjustments to provide dynamic stability at the shoulder. And to improve that connection, you need mobility, stability, and strength in a more targeted way than just these basic sweeping rotational motions.
In fact, there are 5 training qualities that come to mind first for shoulder health before we even think about isolated rotator cuff work.
After all of those qualities are addressed, that's when we start to consider doing isolated rotator cuff exercises as sort of an icing on the cake.
Without further ado, let's jump into the gym and talk about our first quality.
The first of our 5 qualities you'll want to address for bulletproof shoulders is T-spine mobility. All right, so I want you to round your upper back like Lauren is doing here. From there, maintain that rounded back position and try to raise your arms overhead. You'll find that your shoulder mobility gets severely limited when your upper back is in this lockdown position. But as soon as you straighten back up and let your upper back move, your shoulders suddenly have a lot more range of motion, even though you didn't perform any shoulder stretches at all. The better your T-spine can extend and rotate, the more freedom and range of motion your shoulders will possess. To address the extension component, we love these foam roller T-spine extensions. You're gonna lay down with your upper back on a foam roller. From there, place your hands behind your head, brace your abs, and slowly reach back and breathe out. You're gonna hold there for a few seconds before returning back to the start position. Inch your way up and down the roller so that it hits different areas of your T-spine and you cover your entire upper back. Aim for around 6 to 8 reps total. And to address T-spine rotation, we love the heel sit thread the needle. You're gonna get down in an all fours position. From there, you're gonna sit your hips back towards your heels, reach that hand all the way through this open space, and then reach it back up towards the ceiling. With every rep, your eyes and head should follow your hand to maximize the amount of rotation you get. Aim for 8 reps on each side. We'd recommend performing the extensions and rotations a few times per week.
The second of our 5 qualities is breathing mechanics. All the T-spine and shoulder mobility work in the world won't help with shoulder range of motion if you're constantly breathing like this. This apical breathing pattern is important for when you're performing an intense physical activity, but if you're breathing like this for the 20,000 breaths that you take in a day, your neck and upper traps and upper back are bound to get a little bit stiff, which can really impact your shoulder health. Instead of apical breathing, what we recommend is diaphragmatic breathing, where you relax these accessory muscles and breathe through your diaphragm instead. To reinforce a more diaphragmatic breathing pattern, we really love an exercise called crocodile breathing. You're gonna lay face down with your forehead resting on the backs of your palms. From there, you're gonna relax your neck and upper traps and slowly breathe in through your nose for a count of 4 seconds. When you breathe in, you're trying to have your stomach gently press into the floor and have this area of your midsection expand in a 360-degree fashion. After the 4 seconds of deep, slow inhalation, you're going to slowly exhale for 4 seconds through your mouth. Take 60 seconds to practice this breathing pattern and you'll find that you'll be in a much more relaxed state, which will downregulate these accessory muscles and help your shoulders to move much more freely. We'd recommend practicing diaphragmatic breathing as often as you can throughout your day and every time you warm up for your workouts.
Before we get into the final 3 qualities, we want to talk about our RISE program.
Our RISE program is a functional strength training program that includes a thorough mobility warm-up, total body strength training, prehab work, and more to help folks become the most functional and athletic movers possible.
If you're interested to see how Lauren and I put together workouts to make sure we cover all our bases when it comes to a holistic and comprehensive strength training program, then click the link in the description below to learn more.
All right, let's get back to the video.
The third of our 5 qualities is closed chain stability work. Closed chain movements are ones where your hands or feet are fixed to a stationary object and your body is moving. So an example of a closed chain lower body exercise is a squat, where your feet are fixed to the floor and your body moves up and down. And an example of a closed chain upper body exercise is an incline push-up, where your hands are fixed to a bench and again your body's moving up and down. Open chain lower body movements are exercises like seated leg curls or leg presses, where the lower extremity is moving while the body stays still. And open chain upper body movements are exercises like bench presses or lat pull downs, where the upper extremity is moving while again the body stays still. Closed chain exercises are typically regarded as more functional than their open chain counterparts because they're usually a more total body endeavor that involves more muscle groups coordinating together. And they also tend to involve more compressive forces at the joint, which can enhance joint stability. Some of our favorite closed chain stability exercises to promote shoulder health include shoulder taps from a tall plank or a low plank position, forward, backward, and lateral crawls, and scap clocks with a mini band. We like to perform these types of drills for around 2 to 3 sets of 30 to 45 second durations 1 to 2 times per week.
The fourth of our 5 qualities is is open chain strength. Like Jason mentioned earlier, open chain exercises are movements where the hands or feet are moving the object while the body remains still. And while yes, generally speaking, closed chain movements tend to be more favorable from a functionality standpoint, there's still a ton of value in developing open chain strength. Open chain upper body exercises like dumbbell rows, bench presses, and overhead presses are staples within our programming as they serve as a nice foundation of raw strength in the muscles surrounding your shoulder girdle. But we like to take it a step further by incorporating open chain movements from various positions, using different implements, using different angles, and utilizing different stances to enhance stability benefits and improve strength through all different ranges of motion. Make sure you get creative and hit different angles, rep ranges, and positions when it comes to your open chain strength work.
Last but not least, our fifth quality is reactive stability. Once you're confident with open chain exercises, it's relatively easy to stabilize the shoulder during these predictable movements. But in life, things are a lot more unpredictable. You might fall down while snowboarding and brace yourself with one arm, or you might be hanging onto a ledge while rock climbing and suddenly your foot slips out from underneath you and your one arm has to stabilize you. Or maybe you're carrying a toddler and they suddenly launch themselves out of your grasp because they notice their favorite stuffed animal on the ground. All of these circumstances are instances where you don't have a lot of time to think and your shoulders are placed under a lot of stress. During these situations, your rotator cuff needs to dynamically and reflexively stabilize your shoulder within milliseconds in order to prevent injury. While you can't obviously 100% prevent these injuries, as it's hard to replicate these exact scenarios in your training, you can at least make your shoulder more sensitive and refine these reflexes by incorporating exercises into your routine that dynamically challenge your shoulder stability. Some of our favorite reactive stability drills include Turkish get-ups with a kettlebell, carrying kettlebells in various positions, bottoms up holds or presses with a kettlebell, and wall stability ball work. We typically like to place these types of drills early on in a workout for 1 to 2 sets of 30 to 45 second durations, 1 to 2 times per week.
We hope this video showcased why rotator cuff exercises alone don't bulletproof the shoulders.
T-spine mobility, breathing mechanics, closed chain stability, open chain strength, and reactive stability are all much higher on our priority list when it comes to shoulder health.
Having said that, after these 5 qualities are set in place with a comprehensive program, that's when we'll add on some rotator cuff work as sort of an icing on the cake.
We'll typically program in 2 to 3 sets of 12 to 15 reps of slow and smooth rotator cuff exercises 1 to even 3 times per week.
So it's not that rotator cuff exercises are necessarily bad, they're just a small piece of the puzzle when it comes to keeping your shoulders strong and healthy.
That's all we have for you today. Thanks for watching today's video, and we'll catch you in the next one with more intelligent and functional ways to train.